Hello everyone, this is Krusty783 here, and I've finally decided that after almost a year since the last one, I want to try and make the Q&A series like a consistent thing we do on the channel. I'm thinking a pretty good rhythm for this would be to do a Q&A every Sunday, but I'd love to hear what days you think we should do a Q&A on in the comments down below. And if you want your questions to be featured in a future video, just leave it in the comments and I'll hopefully get around to it. Obviously I can't get around to all questions, but I'll get to as many as I can, so if you have one, be sure to leave it in the comments of this video. And before we start, thank you for 5,000, almost 6,000 subscribers now. The plan was to do a 1,000 subscriber Q&A special, but then that turned into 2,000, then 3,000, and then I got really lazy. So consider this the long overdue subscriber appreciation video. Okay, with all of that stuff out of the way, let's get into our first question of the day. Our first question comes in from Fused, who is a channel member. Thank you very much for that, by the way. And Fused asks, will you do videos on other LEGO shows? Now, I am meaning to watch Monkey Kid. When it came out, I watched the pilot, and then I watched like the first 7 or so episodes of season 1, and I quite enjoyed them. I thought they were alright for what they were. However, I never really stuck with Monkey Kid, and at some point I want to change that. I hear that seasons 2 and 3 are very good, and I want to make videos on them at some point, bare minimum at least making reviews of the seasons. I'll probably look into doing this when there's a Ninjago drought on next and there's not really much news happening or anything in the way of new Ninjago content, but at some point, watching and reviewing Monkey Kid, or at least making some kind of discussion of Monkey Kid after I watch it, is something I want to do. Our next question comes in from Zero Jump, who asks, what would you do on this channel when Ninjago is completely over? Would you make Crossbound content on here, or just let this channel die? By the way, in case you guys don't know, Crossbound is my other channel where I do non-Ninjago videos. If that's interesting to you, I'll throw a link to it in the description. As for the question, I would do neither of these. Something that I feel like a lot of people miss is that this channel started in the tail end of 2020. At this point, Ninjago had about 9 years of history under its belt. There are tons of Ninjago related things I want to discuss, and I haven't even scratched the surface in terms of how much I want to do with this channel in Ninjago talk. So if Ninjago ever were to end permanently, this probably wouldn't be the main channel anymore. I'd probably funnel more resources into Crossbound, but I would still be posting Ninjago videos on here. Like, I want to do a timeline video at some point of the whole show, which I think I'll do after Crystalized, because that's a pretty good cutoff point. And yeah, like I say, I have barely even discussed like some of the earlier Will Film seasons on this channel, and that is something I'd like to knock down doing at some point. So if Ninjago ever were to end permanently, which would happen eventually, but I don't think it will be for a long time, there would still be plenty of stuff to do on this channel before it really started getting into trouble. Our next question comes in from Warrior Dragons, who asks, when did you start watching Ninjago and how did you get into Ninjago? So I can't remember which month I started watching Ninjago, but it was either September or October of 2014. Now, I think I would have gotten into the show a lot earlier than this if it existed in the UK beforehand. Outside of a few DVD releases, Ninjago literally did not air in the United Kingdom once until fall of 2014, when Rebooted started coming a few months after. Pretty much the only way for UK viewers to watch Ninjago before that point was to either buy DVDs or just pirate the show online. And so I think if Ninjago started airing on Cartoon Network in like 2011, 2012, 2013, when everyone else got it, I think I probably would have gotten into the theme a lot sooner. Because I did get a set in 2011, and I mean, I only got the set in 2011 because it was the thing at school. You know, everyone had spinners, everyone was like, you need Ninjago stuff to play with us. So it was more of a trend thing than anything. But I really liked that set as a kid. It was Ninja Trap to be specific. And I feel like I would have latched onto the show a lot quicker if I had a way to actually find the show outside of going out of my way to look for it. Because I legitimately did not know there was a show until 2014. And I can distinctly remember watching episode 1, Rise of the Snakes, and just thinking, where are the skeletons? But yeah, as for how I actually got into Ninjago, I remember my little sister saw it on Cartoon Network on the day of airing, brought me downstairs to watch it, and it was a downward spiral from that point. I was never the same person after seeing that episode. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, and let's move on to the next one. Our next question comes in from Green Star Studios, who asks, what is your all-time favorite Ninjago set? And hands down, it absolutely has to be the Ninjago movie Bounty. This is a beautiful set, and it has a ton of really cool details, like, say, a little painting of the ninja, that's like the one from Season 2 in one of the cabins, having vermilion armor, the helmet of, like, the Garmadon helmet with the bone on it, etc. But the thing I like best about it is how it toes the line between being a reasonably priced set and being an expensive modular. Most big Ninjago modular sets cost an arm and a leg like £250 and stuff like that, And it's like, as good as those sets are, I just can't justify spending that much on a LEGO set. Especially when you consider facts like game consoles being comparable in price to these city sets. And it's just like, these are cool sets, but for that much, I just can't justify spending. Especially given how ridiculously big these are. The Ninjago movie bounty strikes a really nice balance between like a mid-ranged big set and one of those big modulars, and I really like it for that. Also, it's just the best iteration of the bounty. There's so much stuff to do, there's so many rooms, I love the little training room, I love the top cockpit. There's just so much to like about this set. I really like it. Our next question comes in from Bedrock Breaker, who asks 2 questions. 1. When will the next Krusty Crew episode come out? I love the 2 ones we have so far. And 2. Do you think we might see Ninjago Crystalized Part 2 before October? As for the first question, thank you for the kind words, and we want to get one out at some point this month, although Q's been very busy with stuff. We have another guest we plan on bringing on, and it's been hard scheduling with them, so we want to get one out at least some point during this month if all things go well, and hopefully we'll have another special guest on there as well, which you think you guys will enjoy. As for question number 2, the thing with LEGO's airing schedule is you just gotta kind of never say never with it. It's very possible that Ninjago Crystalized Part 2 will be airing on Netflix on October 1st, but it's also very possible that it will randomly air on some network like YouTube or some foreign network, etc, etc. It could pop up anywhere because LEGO's marketing with Ninjago, as locked down as it's been recently, honestly I'd never say never with anything relating to it for a while, because it's just historically really unpredictable. Like hell, LEGO might just accidentally upload it again like they did the first time. Although I wouldn't get your hopes up for this, because it is very possible that LEGO will stick to their word and the first time we'll see Crystalized Part 2 is in October on Netflix. So, while it is possible, I wouldn't get hyped for it or get your hopes up for it, because you could be setting yourself up for disappointment. Our last question for today comes in from Mr. Champion 2022, and I want to just do this as the last one, because this is a very long comment, and there's multiple questions I want to go over. So the comment starts of saying, of all the Ninjago YouTubers I've seen on YouTube, you genuinely seem like the best one because you have very well structured arguments to justify your opinions. So I want to see what you think about these things. First of all, thank you for the kind words, that means a lot. But let's get on to your questions. What is the best season of Ninjago in your opinion? In my opinion, the best season of Ninjago, even back then and still now, is Sons of Garmadon. I love how it turns the classic tropes of Ninjago on its head and just completely throws like your expectations for the show out of the window and just throws you for a loop at pretty much every moment. I think that's really fun and exciting. I think the character work is fantastic. Garmadon's return is just masterfully done, despite it on paper being a really bad idea. Harumi is just a fantastic villain and is still one of, if not the best characters this show has ever seen. She is just incredible. She is a really well-written character. The Sons of Garmadon have a really good on-screen presence. I particularly love Mr. E and Kilo. This season just has so much going for it, and that's just even ignoring the beautiful, like, animation, visuals, and cinematography. I think Sons of Garmadon is a fantastic season. What is an overrated season and an underrated season in your opinion? Okay, so overrated seasons, I'm probably going to say either Season 2 or Season 6. I think Season 6 is pretty good, but I feel like it gets a bit too much praise in areas, whereas Season 2, I just don't think it's particularly that good at all. As for underrated seasons, I gotta say Secret to the Fin Spinjitzu. Anyone who's been watching my channel for a while will already know. And as for the final question, it follows up saying you're probably gonna say Season 11, so I want to know what you think of this. Why was Lloyd the one to go for the Ice Emperor's castle in the Ice chapter? Because any other ninja could have gone to face the Ice Emperor, and they didn't even volunteer. For example, in Seabound, Nia has to go face off with Kalmar. Jay volunteers to go, but Nia says she'd be the best option because of her water powers, which is the opposite of what happened in the Ice chapter. Lloyd went for no reason at all, just like in Hands of Time when Nia and Kai went through the time portal with the Time Twins and the other ninjas just sit there and watch when they clearly could have helped. There is an argument that Lloyd was the one to go because of his character flaw of failure that was established by the Oni trilogy, but I don't think that fixes anything, specifically considering the other ninjas didn't even volunteer for you to go. Okay, so the reason I think Lloyd was the one to go on his own is because Lloyd has been very much trying to poise himself as being like a lone wolf after the events of the Oni trilogy. Like, say, in the end of Season 8, when Masaku says that Lloyd is trusting and good and all that, he just goes, like, really emo mode and says, like, not anymore. Or, like, say, in the Oni trilogy, when Lloyd is the one to go in with Garmadon. I get that's because of, his Oni blood, but that's not the point here. In Splinter of the Blind Man's Eye is another example. He goes on his own, and he's just generally really untrusting. Like, for example, in Season 11, I think Episode 23... I want to say it's one of the Ice Chapter episodes. Lloyd is venting about all of his problems to Akita before she knows that, before he knows that she's a wolf. And he mentions that it's nice to get all of this off of his chest, implying that he would rather tell some random dog in the Netherrealm about his problems before the ninja who raised him. So you can get a sense that he's, like, really untrusting and, like, wants to just, like, be on his own. So I think that's why Lloyd chose to go. But as for your other point, I do kind of agree. I mean, Nia kind of mentions that, oh, you're going on your own, why don't we go with you? And Lloyd says that it'd be better for one of them to go, but because, like, stealth advantage, because they obviously can't brute force the Ice Emperor's castle. But on paper, I kind of agree. It is strange that another ninja didn't volunteer to go instead. Like, say, I feel like if Kai had his powers, he'd very much be best suited for the mission, given how he's like a fire elemental. But as for Kai, he probably would have been best staying at the village to kind of maintain the fire. But as for, like, Cole, Jay, and Nia, I mean, Jay and Nia, I can see why they'd want to stay at the village for obvious reasons. But, like, hell, Lloyd and Cole probably could have worked. It is a bit strange, but I think I can excuse it based off of that. And the fact that Nia does kind of question why Lloyd is going on his own. That was a really long answer on my end for that last question. I hope that answered your question. So, thank you for the questions, everyone. Be sure to leave your questions in the comments of this video down below. And hopefully, you'll be featured in next week's video. Before we go, thank you to my wonderful channel members, LloydGamer666YT, Magic Potato, Garmadon, Fused, and Xena Ariel. If you want to get a membership, hit the join button, although don't feel pressured to. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like on it and share it if you found it interesting enough to do so. If you like Ninjago videos and want to see more like this as soon as they come out, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.